All right, all right, all right, all right. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
It's time to get up into it, man. Long video. I got the discussion board up, but y'all probably can't see it, so let me just bring it down so the people know what we're talking about today. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about the adversity of playing sports in NYC and why a lot of us don't make it to the league. And I want to take a look at high school, a concentration in high school, specifically public high school, because in my opinion, I honestly think that high school is a huge determining factor as to whether you go second level. We talk about in college, like whether it's a good college, D1, D2, D3, JUCO, prep, whatever the case is. And then from then on, determines on what your chances are like going to the league. So I think that high school is actually extremely important to where it comes when it comes to making our decisions for college and for the league. So
Definitely.
I want to dive in with that.
Definitely.
And being that we all played in public high school in Queens, me at Campus Magnet, Reef at Bayside, Isaiah, you at Thomas Edison. So we know extremely well what the PSAL is like. For those who don't know, Public School Athletic League fans out there. But yeah, we know that it's difficult, and it's not like some of the other leagues in other states that we've seen.
Well, I'll put it like this. Honestly, I think that the main problem that New York City kids have, the issue that New York City kids have when it comes to playing sports in the next level is first and foremost our academics and our grades. I think that one thing that I've seen hold so many kids back from New York City is the fact they had a 70-something average or a 60-something average and weren't NCAA eligible. So a lot of times you see some of us go to JUCOs, whether it be Nassau, Lackawanna, things of that nature around our area. And don't get me wrong, it's a great, avenue. A lot of people have gone to the league that way. Yeah. But if you don't have the right foundation as an athlete going into a situation like that, it's a very competitive dog-eat-dog type of world. And if you don't have that built into you, it's probably going to look clipped. So a lot of friends that not friends, but a lot of people I've known, over the years have gotten to the brink of making it to the next step and fall short because of the grades that they have. That's first and foremost for me. Besides the equipment, all that we're probably going to keep on talking about, first and foremost is how are these kids getting ready to be NCAA eligible? A lot of us are just looking at it and thinking that is, if you're nice on the football field or you're nice on the basketball court, that's all that is to be said, when there's so much more to it. So,
It's funny because my mom always told me that you could find the best talent in the parks. And the reason that is because they didn't have the grades in their school to go to that next level, which is the collegiate level, and then after that, the pro level. So they refer to the parks, dogging everybody in the park. And you sit there and you think to yourself, like, how are they so nice here in the park and not on TV, us watching them or we competing against each other? You know what I'm saying? And it's so true what Reef is saying. Like, it all starts with inside the classroom, with the education. Yep. It's so true.
Yeah,
so true.
I remember going to school, and even if like it's not the kids, even if it's not the kids putting in their effort and their all, because you're gonna see that all across the country. But it's also on the part of the teachers too, and the teachers, at the end of the day, like I went to Bayside High School. They was not about to pass a kid just because he was a football player. That's not what they do in New York City. You know what I mean? But you go to other states. You ever seen that video? It was one. I forgot the guys that make it. It was one of those comedy guys on IG, and it was like when the coach go to the teacher after they best player fill the class. He was trying to bribe him. Like, bro, I know coaches might not be bribing teachers, but I know something similar like that goes down every time when we're down south to Alabama, when the best quarterback in the country is filling the course. I know they're not gonna let him fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different ball game. In New York City, 3,000 kids in my school. Why would a teacher care about one player that's supposed to be, quote unquote, the best in the city? He don't really care about that. You know what I mean? So it's different situations. And then what makes it worse is the fact that the kids too are not being taught beforehand that academics are a major part of athletics. Mm-hmm. So I had multiple people that was in my school, that was on my team, that would skip all day classes and then show up to practice. Right. Until my coach started saying, if I find out you miss a class, you can't practice. You know what I mean? Like, our coach had to literally say that before kids started being like, all right, let me go to school. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So it's like, honestly, it's like, we got to solve that first. We got to get the kids in New York to realize that grades are very important. Even if you come out with like an 8, I came out with like an 82, 83. I played D2 football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you come out with like a calm 80-something grade average, but take school at least a little bit seriously. You know what I mean? Because like in football, at the end of the day, you need that too. Because when you get to the college game, it's not like all you're going to be doing is playing football. Exactly. Me and Josiah firsthand can tell you that it's not that game. You feel me? Like, you got to get your schoolwork done. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. Whether you're going to lose playing time, whether you're going to lose your scholarship, whether you're going to lose just being on the team in general. You feel me? They don't just let you slide and not do schoolwork.
Nah, that's true. I was always told that even though you take sports as serious, you have to take the classroom as serious. Because God forbid you get injured. What are you going to do after that?
Mm-hmm.
You have nothing to fall back on. Your grades is terrible. Now you injured, potentially career ending.
Yep.
What you gonna do? You can't do nothing.
Even regardless, we know that we are never going to be playing these sports for the rest of our lives. So you have to have some type of foundation and something else other than playing sports. You see what I'm saying? Because at some point we're going to need to use our brain and our minds to get ahead in life. And to both of y'all points, grades, academics, all of that, and then even to the point to SAT and ACT scores. You know, I'm not sure. I think I heard something where they're kind of going to get rid of that, like for the younger generation. Yeah. Even still, there wasn't a lot of athletes going to SAT, ACT prep, and I remember there was one point where I actually had to come late to a football game because I was taking the ACT somewhere, you know what I mean? So it's like stuff like that, those are the sacrifices you have to make. But look where I end up. You know, I was at D2, and I'm quite sure that if a lot of the other players, you know, took that step, even though we was gonna have to sacrifice part of the game to take the test, you got to do that in order to help yourself get a better advantage or a better opportunity in another school in the next level. So I know that's the one of it. And then I'll even go further to say that it could happen in the school systems too. Like, we can get these programs going for athletes to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do in class, and it makes sure that they're NCAA eligible. And I was going to get to that because these are the resources that we need. And I know for me at Jack, the athletic department and the coaching staff did not go well with each other. Like, they could probably care less about each other, and that affects us. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a personal vendetta that them two have against each other, we the ones that's paying for it. I remember one of the first games of the season, we was playing DeWitt Clinton, and I think this was my junior year. We was getting ready to play the game, and the athletic director came out onto the field and started pulling players off because they weren't eligible to play. You see what I'm saying? And all of that could have been avoided with this simple communication between him and my head coach. But because they just, you know, for whatever reason, didn't want to discuss topics like that, players suffered for it, and they couldn't play that game, and we got smacked. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that.
That's embarrassing.
That would have never happened, even in Catholic school or schools in Texas, down south, West Coast. They're going to make sure that their players are ready to play, they're eligible, and they're going to make sure that they perform on the field. Not this type of baby nonsense like that, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Pulling players, like, he literally came onto the field, and you know you got the track around the field. He walking on the track, pulling players off, like, he's not eligible. He's not eligible. He's not eligible. Why you ain't figure that out before the season even started? You know he's getting ready to have this game today. You should have been figured that out. You know what I mean? So, yeah. You know,
you think that they did that to make a statement?
Honestly, I don't even know what it was. Because you could
make like an example.
You know what? Maybe that could be what it was. You know, saying like, you need to come through me, or have, regardless if you're the coach or not. You know, you got to go to the athletic director, and, you know, I guess it's just like a pride statement. But either way, with them two going at it, we the ones suffering for it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that is the reason why we don't excel. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's not even a good look. That's not a good look at all.
And that's another reason why I feel like we kind of get held back as a city when it comes to athletics, is disorganization.
Yeah.
You know, I think that from my experience playing a New York City sport, it's more of like I don't know how to put it, but I wouldn't say it's more like a hobby because a lot of kids do take it seriously.
Yeah.
But it's just done as if it was a hobby. It's not done on no next level seriousness.
Yeah.
And saying that it's like, for example, the after school workouts and stuff like that. There was no really set organization to it where to like, you know, we felt like we were personally getting better. To be honest, it was as if we all just got together and started lifting weights in the school weight room. That's exactly what it felt like. You know what I mean? And then on top of that too, being that we had the whole summer, where we had only Big Apple and then training camp, you know what I mean? Well, we go to other schools, they probably have weightlifting sessions and programs for the high school students throughout the whole summer, throughout the whole summer. So it's like we're coming in, we didn't spend, unless you personally had the drive for it, we didn't spend as much time as we should have been on developing our craft. So therefore, the talent level isn't going to be as great. You know, there's going to be a lot of raw talent, not refined talent. You know, so then that's why at the end of the day, we had so many kids coming out with raw talent without any, you know, they go play college ball and it's like they don't even know how to do footwork that sixth graders were doing, you know what I mean, when they first started playing ball. So it's all about the organization too. And if
that has a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Also, that has a lot to do, I feel like, with coaching.
Yeah,
100%.
Like with coaching, like your coaches is supposed to teach you these things since you was a youth. You know what I'm saying? Like just as you were saying, like you don't know how to have the footwork and the fundamentals as a sixth grader is supposed to. So when you go into the next level, yeah, you might have the talent, but the little things, the little knick-knack things that another player has, you don't.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I feel like a lot of that goes on in New York. Like in New York, there's a lot of raw talent that again in the parks, in the schools, but no fundamental skills. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Also, another thing, well, I'm gonna talk from a basketball perspective because that's what I play. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
go ahead.
A lot of people, like all they want to do is mix this one and dunk on this one. Like, yeah, all those highlight plays is cool, but a layup is the same 2 points.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So because you can't get that highlight play, they don't work at the fundamental things.
Yeah.
They try to get their bounce up. They try to go in the lab just to dribble the ball. Like, you're not gonna propel yourself to the next level just trying to work on these things that you were doing apart.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like a lot of us don't propel ourselves to that next level. Because at the collegiate level, you can't do all of that.
Because everybody
even though
you literally play the best from every school. You know what I'm saying? You playing the top, you play with the top dogs from every school in almost every state.
I remember one of my first practices as a college football player, my freshman year. Now, mind you, coming into college, especially because I didn't see a lot of this, I knew other states had better football, obviously, but to experience it firsthand is a different story. So when I came in, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm just gonna try to outgrind everybody. Everyone at the same way. We're all freshmen coming at the same level, thinking the same, all of that. I remember the first meeting I ever had. We had a film session meeting. It was a quarterback meeting. I sat in the quarterback room. I thought I was one of the smartest quarterbacks there was.
Yep.
Bro, he started talking, and I thought I was listening to another language, bro. Yeah. It was like stuff that he was talking about I had never heard in my life. And it made me feel some type of way, and it lost a lot of confidence in me because I'm like, I've been playing quarterback for the past 4 years now. I thought I knew enough, and now I'm realizing I don't even know to the beginning, you know? And this freshman's in the same room as me that's understanding the talk he's talking about. At least to a little bit, you know, the basis of it, you know what I mean? Mark Ball, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like KJ, I don't think KJ really knew that much, you feel me? KJ was on another level. But yeah, you know, so it was like, where are we getting taught this technical analysis for the sport we play?
We're not.
You know? Yeah. Where are we really getting taught it? Honestly, I learned to play quarterback basically by just knowing a cover 3, cover 2, and how to beat it. Yeah. You know? I didn't really learn about shell coverages. I didn't really learn about, you know, different pass protection coverages that you had to know and adjust depending on the blitz and what the down defensive linemen are doing. It's all that plays into it. But I didn't know any of that. Yeah. All they told me in high school was, look, you got to slant in and out. If it's a cover 3, if it's cover 3 and the corner stays on the slant, you throw it out. If he stays on the out, you throw the slant. That's all I knew.
Yeah, right. And
you know what I mean? That's all I knew. So it's like I go in.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can speak to both of y'all points. because I'm in the same QB room as Reek when we first got there, and I played a ball for my school team. So I already know where both y'all are coming from, and it's easily a lack of resources and a lack of coaching. And I think that really comes from the stem that for the PSAL, your coach has to be within the Board of Education system in order to be your head coach. Now, even though, you go to other schools and other states and stuff like that, the head coach may be the basketball, maybe the gym teacher, something like that. But I'm talking about these coaches are actually working at other schools, coming back to coach us. And we don't really got like a real connection or a real relationship with them because we don't see them on a regular day basis all throughout the day, right? Now, to that point, a lot of them may not have played ball, whether it was growing up on a collegiate level, on a professional level. So they go to lack of experience right there. They just trying to figure it out along the way just because they like the sport or they think that they can coach it. And then the school systems don't allow us to really progress. Like I went down to South Carolina. This is years ago. This is when I was in high school. I went down to South Carolina. It was Conway High School. I'll never forget. And I'm looking at you went there. You went there. Remember the ladies in that high school, bro? The gym was different. The weight room was different. And then the field was different too. Like they had a whole complex. This is in high school. I'm in high school too, and I got a park. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that is really the difference. And then when you talk about the knowledge of coaching, I remember when I was at Pace. This is when I was playing tight end, right? I know Coach Gill Martin. He taught us how to do jab steps coming off the line, like 1-step jab, 2-step jab, simple stuff like that. Elevated my game to where I can get off the line better than I ever could. And it's just little stuff like that. But I was never taught that in high school. And it's those little fundamentals like y'all were talking about that can help us elevate our game. Like instead of raw talent, refined talent. Like it'll help us polish our talent to a level that we can get to. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
The coaches just worry about winning.
Yeah.
That's all they're worried about. As long as they see that W in that column, they good. They don't care what happens to us afterwards. As long as right then and there they could get that W, they satisfied. And that's what's killing us as players growing up in New York. That's what's killing us each and every time, yo.
I'm not gonna lie though. Let's also be honest about the whole situation. It's not only the coaches, it's not only the facilities and the faculty and all that. We gotta be honest about it and say that New York City athletes have to start addressing sports at a more serious note. And by that, I mean, of course, I remember being a New York City student and walking around the halls of New York City classes, going to New York City classes, all that, and just the non-seriousness, the disrespect, the jokingness that a lot of the students had, sometimes impacted our academics in classes and stuff like that. For example, let's say a kid's disrupting the teacher, or the kid is disrupting the cafeteria and is starting a fight or whatever, But the thing is, though, at the end of the day, our academic, setup in New York City, the Department of Education is so set up so strictly that we're at the end of the day we're still gonna get our education. We're still gonna come out and do well.
Yeah.
Right.
New York City athletics is not set up with the same structure. So when you have kids going to practice late, or when you have kids talking back to the coach, saying disrespectful things, which I have personally experienced.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You feel me? Or when you have players on the field literally arguing with each other instead of trying to, work together to be effective as a unit, that hinders everybody's growth as an athlete. I remember the time when we didn't start film for a good 30 to 40 minutes. Joe knows the story. I'm not going to say it because it was my guys, but you feel me? We didn't start film for a good 30 to 40 minutes because dudes was just wilding, And had they not done that, we probably would have got a good film session in. You know what I mean? We didn't even get to have a good film session. We didn't even have to get to have a real film session, And we lost that opportunity as if we get state-of-the-line opportunities, It's not like we're going to get film sessions every day like other people down south do. That was probably I don't remember off the top of my head now, but that was probably the one we had for the whole week until the next week, And
Yeah.
it's not like the kids is watching film on their own.
Exactly.
So, and that builds you as an athlete, as a football player. That builds you, because it's not only about what you do on the field, but what you're doing off the field. So things like that. Or let's say when we used to be practicing, you just see one of the starting receivers jogging into practice late. I'm like, I mean, to a certain extent, our players held stuff like that accountable, yeah. But I feel like it could have been done a lot better. And I know it could have, because I came to college football and I realized the professionalism in it. I realized the seriousness that people put into it. Sure, there was times when the players would talk back to the coaches, but only when it was meant for. And, at the end of the day, we were grown men at that point, But there was a sense of, all right, we're mature enough to realize there's a goal to get done, and certain things are going to be cut out in order to get that goal done. We didn't have the same thing in high school. You know what I mean? And it wasn't sure. It was sure the coaches had something to do with it. Yeah. But the players, man, like we know how New York City the dudes are, bro. We know.
Right. But now let me ask you this. If we was as structured and I'm trying to say if we was as structured and as successful in getting players to the next level and to the NFL in our public school system, do you think that we would take it a lot more serious? Yes, because this is what we see happening. Right now, let me bring up the point. I promise you, Lincoln, those players, they take their sport seriously because they know that they can get to that next level. Now, in Bayside, Thomas Edison, what? I seen so many people before me come late before practice. I seen them disrespect the coaches. What am I taking this serious for? I don't have facilities like the rest of them do. Our weight room consists of cardio machines. I'm not going to take football serious if all I'm doing in the weight room is running on a treadmill, right? But I promise you, in Lincoln, Ehall, Tottenville, they actually got strength and conditioning coaches. They actually got people who was breaking this down to a science to where that they can excel. So you know what? I'm going to take it serious because I have the tools necessary to take it serious. I think that's really more of what it is as well. Yes, we do need to have it within ourselves because it's a different type of mindset. If you're serious about this, you got to have your own motivation to get yourself to the next level, whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think some of the environments that we're around, it just really doesn't permit us to do that.
But now you are speaking facts, but at the same time too, this, like, for example, let's take us when we went to Division II football, right? Not even only our team. I don't know if you know any players that played in any 10 that were from Queens or New York City and stuff like that, but I've known a couple. And in all honesty, we were one of the first two that really truly made it through 4 years and was able to play on the team for all 4 years. A lot of players go to these collegiate teams and leave after their freshman, sophomore year when they were in high school in New York City. Now, some of that is because, they weren't good enough because, they didn't get the right technical training and teaching. But how many times did we see a New York City kid have problem adjusting to the professionalism of what is college sports?
Yeah.
How many times have we?
At that point,
and you want to blame that on you want to blame that on the coach? You want to blame that on them, bro. At the same time too, as much as we've seen kids from the city do that, there are the select few that come out and they're like, I know what I need to get done. And it's not only because of their athletic personality, but that's just because of how they were set up overall.
Yeah.
They know they're goal oriented. They know what they got to get done, so they make it through those 4 years. Not a lot of kids are making it through those 4 years. Why? Because they don't have the mental capacity to do it.
Right. That's because at that point in time, it's already too late. They already have laziness or just a lack of work ethic instilled with them from the time they were playing Little League to the time they went through high school. That's a lot of years of where you're just not having the right habits within you in order to sustain the mental capacity, whatever, in order to persevere through those 4 years. We will
to just adjust.
Right. You
know, just you go to the collegiate level, that's too hard. That's too hard. That's already how many years? Like 9, 10,
yeah, exactly.
9, 10 years of
but what I'm saying is like, even if, let's say, the professionalism of the collegiate level was brought down to the high school level of the PSAL, I think the same effect would happen. I think kids would go in and not survive all 4 years. Honestly, I think some of these kids that play football would literally go in there and not be disciplined enough to take on a professional setting of college, of football. High school, college. Pee-wee might be the only one that I think Deuce could do because at the end of the day, Pee-wee is Pee-wee. You know what I mean? But if you have an actual structured high school, like the reason why E-Hall, Titanville, all those places that you named are like that is because it's been like that for years.
Right.
Yeah, they have a household name.
Years. But
name.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so like when we go to like schools like Bayside, when we go to schools like Campus Magnet and things like that, we got to realize that in order for them to reach a certain level of like, okay, we're producing actual solid athletes in these sports.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen overnight if only the school changes. It's gonna take years, just like it took E-Hall and Titanville and Lincoln years.
Right.
But for the change to happen more rapidly, kids got to start waking up and be like, all right, man, let me take this seriously. All right, bro, this coach is actually telling me something that I really got to listen to. Let me not come back to him. You know what I mean? All right, bro. I got practice at 10 in the morning. Why am I leaving my house at 9:30, bro? I know I could. Let me get there early, stretch out, get some stretching before we go in. You know what I mean? Like, bro, set yourself up for success. The New York City kids just be honestly. I really think that sometimes we just sit around and expect things to come to us. Like we think that if we just participate in football, somehow we're gonna end up in the NFL.
Yeah.
It don't work like that.
Yeah.
You know, it don't work like that. If you go into football, that's step one. That's the first step of trying to get to the league. Just playing the game. That's the first step. There's 100 more steps. There's 1,000 more steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids got to start realizing that. I think that they don't have the realization of what it actually means to play college football and what it actually means to play professional football.
I feel like that's only in the public school system, though.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
If we go over to the Catholic school, if we go over to the Catholic school system, it's completely different.
It's different.
They got a whole bunch of trainers, you know, but you also pay for what you get. You know what I'm saying? You pay for Catholic school. So they paying their money. They expecting to get the best trainers, the best this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's only in the public school system that the New York City kids is like that, because the same New York City kids that go to Catholic school, their mindset completely changes.
Exactly.
I know a kid. He went to what's the school? Flushing. He went to Flushing, and then he transferred to Christ the King, and now he's on his way to like Penn State or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But also they do get more looks.
Yeah. But they get the looks because of what they produce, and that's the point that I'm trying to get at. One, that's the reason why I said let's look at public school, because we don't produce as much, because we don't have the mentality to do it, the resources to do it. And Catholic school, I'm quite sure if it's still the same, they had freshman teams, JV teams, and varsity. So that's true development. Like, you go through the system. Some of us, we play JV, may not even play JV. And then some of us will go straight to varsity. We may not even touch the field there. So where's the development in that? And also, you're both proving my point. Now, if public school was to be structured in a way where we can see the production from it, a lot of New York City athletes would take it a lot more seriously. And the ones that do go to Catholic school, you see what I'm saying? Because they know that the structure is there. They know that the recognition is there. So if they want to get to the next level, they know that public school ain't the way, because they don't have the resources for me to get there. That's what I'm trying to say.
Unless they go to a high-end.
But see how you're talking about the individual. People, how you're talking about the individual. That individual made the choice. He realized, I bet I want to go to the next level. The only way I can do that is if I leave this situation and go to the next. Now, had he stayed there, maybe he wouldn't have went to Penn State. But because of his work ethic and his drive, you don't think he would have ended up at a D2 or a low D1 school? You know what I mean? It was just because of how hard he was working. He knew, like, your situation and your setting, yes, I agree, it has an impact on it. And definitely there has to be a change within the structure of New York City athletics. But there has to be a change in the athlete too, bro. There's got to be a change in the athlete.
In the mental state.
There's got to be a change in the athlete, bro. Because, bro, what I could literally, you guys all know, there's literally too much going on in the mind of a New York City high school kid. You know, there's literally a lot going on, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be sports and school. Sports and school. Those two things are gonna get me to where I want to go. So let me do that. That's what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? Regardless of the situation that they're in, the sports that they get, the equipment that they have, You know, there's people. I'm pretty sure we've all heard stories of some people across the country who grew up playing football or basketball in situations that they did not have the right, the right equipment or right setting.
Yeah.
They were just dogs.
Yeah.
They was just dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People from other parts of the country are just dogs.
Right.
Forget the equipment. Forget what they get. Forget all of that.
You got
From
that
birth.
drive.
From birth. And it's because, obviously, too, it's the amount of open field they have. We have other things that we can do in our lives. Being in New York City, we have so much access to it. They don't have that much. So football is pretty much the only thing they really can do. But dogs.
General.
Dogs. So it don't matter. It don't matter if you give them the right equipment. Dogs. It don't matter if they got the right coaching. Dog. We know one, Joe. We know one, J5.
Yeah,
Dog. It don't matter what he got, bro. It don't matter. It don't matter where he at, what he has to do. Dog. He gonna get something done.
I feel like also it's the people around you, because of course the same bird of a feather flock together. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like down south, all those kids have in the same mind that they want to go pro.
Yeah.
So if you hanging around somebody that want to go pro, and every day they instilling in your mind like, yo, we got to go pro, it's just gonna make you work 10 times harder. I feel like in New York City, as you said, we just play this game for a hobby. We just do it for something else to put on our resume, basically.
Yeah.
They don't really take it serious. They just want to play, just to say that, yeah, I play basketball, or yeah, I play football.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You heard, I got a jersey.
Yep.
There's no real like grind, no real dedication. But that's really just in the public schools.
Bro, I be hearing people when some of these NFL players be going on, bro. I be hearing them talk about, yeah, if it wasn't for football, I don't know what I'll be doing.
Right.
They be like, yeah, I was playing football just to get my mama out, and I'd be like, bro, obviously I was trying to get my mama out too, but it wasn't like I was thinking football was the only way.
They put all their eggs in one basket, literally.
They like, bro, it's over. I'm not letting you.
playing.
So imagine, bro, like, literally, and that's what happens when we go to college. When New York City kids go to college, we grew up football. We loved football. We want to play football, but it wasn't a necessity to us.
Yeah.
You lining up against someone that really believes that the way he gonna feed his family is by playing this sport.
Word.
You really
He's
gonna
out
be
to destroy.
You really think you're here, bro? Come on, bro.
They have no plan B.
Yo,
You got plan B. He don't. So let's do a win.
I forgot where he came from, but Josh Jacobs, he's playing for the Raiders right now, running back, and I'm not sure what state he came from, what neighborhood, but I know at some point he was homeless, and because he was homeless, like he had it made up within his mind that I'm playing ball, like I'm playing ball to get me out, because one, I'm on the streets. And I don't want to be here no more. And if there's the only thing that I have access to, then I'm going to make sure that I perfect it and get myself in the right positions in order to get myself to the next level. So I see what y'all saying with the drive.
It's got to be a different level of it before we could get somewhere as New York City athletes. It's got to be a different level. It's got to be. And I feel like it's more – I feel like New York City basketball players have it more than football players. Right. I think basketball players love, like, I feel like when it comes to y'all, y'all love the game so much, y'all be on the court 24/7. And it shows. New York City basketball is just generally better than New York City football, But there's definitely could be an improvement in it. And football, like we all know, definitely a major improvement can be made in that.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because not a lot of basketball players from New York make it.
Yeah, that's true. But then I think
so serious.
Exactly. I think the school part is why that happens.
Yeah, that's easily why it happens.
That's really the only reason.
Yeah.
That's really the only reason, because we go to out-of-state tournaments. We spend a whole lot of money on kicks, on the best trainers, this, that, and the third. But if you don't got the grades to, put you to the next level, you staying exactly where you at. You're going to be nice. You're going to just be running in place.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember playing ball. I didn't get to play a lot through high school. I obviously injuries, but I remember one point. I think this was like in 7th to 8th grade. I was playing AAU. I was playing with the Blue Devils, Isaiah, and I had 5 games in one day. 5 games in one day at 3 different locations. You see what I'm saying? So, and I wasn't even like really, I wouldn't say I wasn't passionate about playing basketball, but I knew that football was probably the direction I was going to go. And I'm still doing 5 games in one day. Now imagine the rest of them who really love playing ball. You know what I'm saying? They're doing this every single weekend. throughout the week. Like they eat,
Yeah.
sleep, drink,
They're
ball.
comfortable.
There's parks for you, you know, to do that. Like you can go shoot around in the gym, you go shoot at a park, you can get a pickup game against anybody just to elevate your scale.
Yeah.
So it's not like you necessarily always need that coaching, because when you playing ball, you kind of develop those different skills on your own. Now you need a coach to direct you in order to make you a complete player. And, you know, I'm talking about in terms of IQ and, you know, seeing the court in a different way. But for the most part, they're out there and they working.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And then another big issue I think is keeping our kids inside our city too. I think a lot of kids that are really, really nice, like let's say, like no offense to my boy Hami, because he went to
I had him as an example too.
You feel me? My boy Hami went to Bayside. Me and him went to school together freshman year and everything. You feel me? But he left and he went to CT, and now dudes is like, you feel me? When dudes talk about his high school career, when dudes talk about him being a high school player, they're not going to talk about him being from New York. They're going to talk about him playing at CT. So he's going to be a CT dude, you know. And I feel like a lot of our players do that. Be like, all right, bro, I can't really do nothing here. Let me be out. They leave and they take their talents with them.
Prep schools is out of New York.
Right,
exactly.
Great prep schools is outside of New York. So if you're trying to make it, the best route to go is to the prep school. You know what I'm saying? So if the prep schools is outside of New York is not going to get the recognition that it needs in order for the public school to then try to elevate, you know what I'm saying, get the people to get their grades up and everything. We're not getting no looks.
Yep.
So we think that the best thing to do is go out of state and then New York get no recognition. So then the kids is like, all right, so I'm going to just play ball just for playing ball. Forget the grades, forget everything else. I'm going to just play ball just for playing ball's sake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
and that's all if they don't even go to Catholic school, because I can give you the example with Jelly Fam. Almost all of them, I'm pretty sure all of them went to Catholic school, and they are some of the best ballers in NYC that we've ever seen. And look at them. None of them playing public school. Why? Because there's nothing for them there. Period.
Nothing.
I'm saying period.
It's got so bad. I heard a dude from Jersey try to jack that Jelly Fam is in Jersey. They tried to jack it was a Jersey thing.
Right.
You know, whoever, when this goes up, the person knows who I'm talking about too.
It's because of JQ. It's because of Jelly JQ.
Yeah.
It ain't starting. Not
Jelly Fam is New York, born and raised.
Even still, they know that New York City public school is not the way. And it's still amazing, you know, that a lot of us still make it out to play collegiate sports regardless of the level. You know what I'm saying? It's a huge accomplishment. And, you know, a lot of changes need to be made. For a fact.
Big facts.
For a fact. Hey, but this was a great first episode. Great discussions. I know we're gonna have a lot more coming. We're gonna drop this tomorrow, and then we're gonna have another recording next week Thursday. We're gonna get after it. I'm gonna let y'all know what the topic is, and we're gonna go toe to toe with it.